Hey guys, Commissioner here. As you may have noticed, the message boards have been on fire this week. I've been reading daily, but I wanted to give everyone a chance to weigh in before I gave my opinion. To date, this season has unfolded like so many before. As usual, it has been a source of great joy for me to participate with you fine gentlemen. Some teams have started strong, only to fade once injuries and byes have come into play. Trash talk is spewed in all directions. No one is 100% sure where Abarca is managing his team from. I've been successful in distracting you guys with videos to take attention away from my team's subpar performance. Haven't I? And we've all been annoyed with Kamran at one point or another and wish he would just leave us the hell alone with his relentless attempts to make trades. This script is nothing new. It's the dynamic of our league, and damn it, we have a great league. Everyone battles it out for 16 weeks in the fall, and just before Christmas, fantasy football glory is presented as the best present of all. Then, the slate is wiped clean, we regroup in the off-season, and show up the following August full of beer and hope to the draft. This is the single greatest day of the fantasy football calendar for many reasons. One of them being that everyone is equal. It doesn't matter what happened the year before or where they finished in the standings. Everyone can confidently come to the draft believing that this will be their year. Well, at least that's how it was. But times are changing, AFL, and we have some tough decisions to make. For the first time ever, moves being made this season will have a huge impact on next season. Never before have the following year's draft picks been in play when looking to improve one's position in the current standings. Not only does this alter short-term strategy, but more importantly, I would argue, it brings long-term strategy into play, something that we have never before had in our league. Between auction bidding and using draft picks as currency, we have seen more changes to the foundation of our league in the past 3 years than in our league's 10-year history. I believe that we have arrived at a crucial turning point, and the choices we make now will have a great impact for years to come. We have two main issues here. At the heart of this whole discussion is ensuring that all managers display equal effort and remain competitive for the entire season. No one, especially me, wants to see a team throw games towards the end of the season for the sole purpose of improving their position the next year. This eliminates the competitive balance for the current year and furthermore diminishes the integrity of our league. Each week, each team should be starting their best possible lineup and put forth a good faith effort to win the game, no matter what their current place in the standings is. This is why we started fining teams for not starting a full lineup, and that has proved to be very effective. Only Chase has been dumb enough to violate that rule this year, and he has since been less drunk when managing his team.
Sup?
Keep in mind that every year since I can remember, at some point during the season, there has been a discussion in one form or another about teams giving up or whatever you want to call it. This isn't anything new. This week-to-week competitiveness has started to get complicated, however, and it's no longer black and white. Sure, the Colt 45s and the Empire are sitting at the bottom of the standings right now, but they are already the early favorites going into next year. In addition to a first and second round draft pick, Drew has 3 third round picks, and Sonny and Finch are sitting on 2 first round picks. Whether or not you agree with their managerial decisions is up to you, but they operated within the current rules of our league, and I doubt I'm alone when I say I think a power shift is coming. Would taking draft picks out of the trade options help to deter throwing games? Maybe. Would moving the trade deadline up a few weeks help? It's possible. Would instituting a penalty for the last place team motivate people towards the end of the season, even if they're not in the playoff hunt? You never know. I don't have all the answers, and we will need to vote on this sooner or later. Second major issue here is what to do about Joe and Finch, who have co-captained a team for several years now and want to be their own boss. They are full members of this league and not any less deserving than the rest of us to have their own team. Based on past discussions, though, I think we are all in agreement that we don't want more than 12 teams in the league, and it goes without saying, none of us would willingly give up our own spot. The idea of relegation has been brought up several times and is a possible option for punishment were we to go that route. But let's consider that for a moment. If Joe and Finch take control of their own team, we would have a pool of 14 players in a 12-person league. This would mean that the last place finisher would then have to sit out 2 years before having the chance to own their own team again. That seems extreme to me. Also, would we relegate the person who finishes last in the regular season, or the person who finishes last once the consolation bracket is completed? My issue with this whole concept is that someone has to finish last. That's just the nature of any league. Just because the players on your team, who, by the way, you have absolutely no control over on game day, don't collectively score as many points as the team you are playing or other teams in the league, doesn't mean that you weren't trying to win that game or that you aren't passionate about fantasy football. If we find an agreeable solution to the first issue of competitiveness, and everyone puts forth equal effort all season long, I would personally not feel right about sentencing someone to Empire Island for 2 years. Here again, I don't have the answers, I'm merely giving my opinion. So far, we've heard from many league members, but not everyone. Even if the rest of you don't publicly state your opinion, it is your responsibility to be thinking about your stance on these issues so you're ready to vote when the time comes. Now, in closing, let me just reiterate the fact that the AFL is probably the best fantasy league on the planet. However, it is only at its best when everyone participates. I encourage you all to add your comments to this video, talk to me privately, or come see me in person. The doors to the Asia Center are always open, and that's not just because the Asia Center doesn't have doors. As always, I wish you all the worst of luck this week. Commissioner out.